In a long season that didn't always go according to plan, the Commanders closed it out the right way.
Okay, who they got out there? They could have put the high school team out there from the local school, bro. I just wanted to go out there and finish strong and play hard. And
it was a lot of ups and downs, but no one in the locker room got down on each other or was like, I don't want to be here no more. It's like a brotherhood, and like we had each other back through the whole 17, 18 weeks, and it was good to see.
They wrapped up the 2025 season on a high note with a 24-17 win over the Eagles.
You can't bank on that momentum going forward, right? You got to create your own momentum when we come back for OTA. So it's good to get that one in the book. Just understand, like, when we are in those moments next year, like, capitalize on it.
There are a lot of ups and downs throughout this season, but our brotherhood is strong, and we have a group of guys that want to do things the right way, and we play hard, and we were able to come out with a win today, so it's a great feeling.
Now, facing adversity all afternoon, the Commanders battled back through 2 costly turnovers and stormed back from a 7-point deficit in the fourth quarter.
A team playing this hard, regardless of who was out there on both sides, like playing this hard with all the shit we've been through this year, mentally, physically, that's important. We lost obviously too many games this year, but the program, the culture that we worked on and built last year, still here.
Now, when it mattered most, quarterback Josh Johnson delivered the go-ahead touchdown, and the Commanders' defense slammed the door shut.
We did a good job putting the work in this week, doing a good job of, locking in on our assignments. And then really at the end of the day, just coming out playing hard, having fun, knowing that's the last one. First one of the new year, but last one of the season. Just go out and leave it all out there. There's nothing to hold back, so just do it one last time with your brothers.
Now it's time to reset, reload, and turn the page towards 2026. We've got plenty to break down this week on Tony McGee's Pro Football Plus.
The man is back, y'all. We're back. Call your mama, call your daddy. We're back, and we're back. We're back. Tony McGee's back, y'all. We're back. Tony McGee. Come on. Tony McGee, Pro Football Plus. Tony McGee, Pro Football Plus. Tony McGee, Pro Football Plus. Tony McGee.
People don't know the real story of what happened.
It was an unbelievable series of events and an unbelievable time.
Their championship was taken away from them in 1969. We are living in their championship now.
50-some years later, good is coming from it. They are impacting state after state after state after state.
And we're going to show the world how to love.
Crystal City Sports Pub, located in the heart of National Landing, is ranked one of the top 20 sports bars in the country. We are open 365 days a year. Crystal City Sports Pub, with its laid-back atmosphere, is the place to be. We offer 3 levels, over 100 TVs, an 18-foot video wall, pool tables, 3 full bars featuring 11 beers on tap, an extensive menu, and super friendly staff. We offer on- and off-site catering and ample space to host private parties and gatherings. Come experience Crystal City Sports Pub. It is the place to be.
Welcome to Tony McGee's Pro Football Plus. Now, I know a lot of you fans are saying, man, I'm glad this season is over. They did win the last game. They played against the second string, but one thing that happened, I saw some promises in players. So during the course of this show, I'm going to ask my guys, who do they see that they will bring back? But one thing we are interested in, my guys in there, that's Donna. She's not my guy, but she's my sidekick. I got the big fella here, Solomon. I got Cool G here, and I got Michael, our Michael, not the other Michael. You say, what other Michael you talking about? Philadelphia, we bring in Mr. Receiver, Mike Quick. Welcome to the show, Mike.
Thank you, Tony.
Did I bring the G in? Did I bring G in yet?
You did.
Okay, I got to make sure it's cold in the room, so that's why I had to ask you. We're going to get to talking about the Commanders in a little while, but Mike, I got to ask you this question.
Yes, sir.
Is there anything going on with this Philadelphia team? It started at the end of last year. Got a little better in the beginning, but then you have the receiver saying, if you give me the ball 100 yards every game, I'll get you 100 yards. He go out and do that in the first half, but then it goes back to the same thing. Is there too many superstars on this team at this time?
Well, it's only one ball, and you got to share it around to a lot of big mouths. And when you got all of this talent that we have in Philadelphia, it takes a lot of management because everybody wants the ball. If you're a good player, especially like guys that play wide receiver, running backs, and you know that you can affect the game, you want to affect the game. You want the ball. So sometimes it's not handled in probably the right manner when you go about asking for it. But I really don't mind that because I want guys to be hungry for the ball. I want a guy to think that he can make the difference in the game. There's not a game that I ever played in that I didn't walk on the field thinking that I could be the difference. I want that kind of dude. Now, you got to manage the way that's done, but I want that dude.
Is that what you're hearing around the locker room? Is that really because you got an all-star running back, you got an all-star quarterback, you got an all-star receiver, you got another receiver reaching all-star, you got an offensive lineman that's star. I know that, and that's the one thing I can always say about the Redskins when we played and went to the Super Bowl with them. Yeah. We were a team, and we played as a team, and nobody was bigger. Everybody's job was important, and you see that on that Philadelphia. But we'll get to you later on that. I know they didn't need the last game, but now I got to ask the crew, did you guys see anybody that Washington needs to bring back next year? I'm going to ask each of you one of the positions. Donna, I'm going to start with you with maybe the offensive line. Did you see an offensive lineman that they need to bring him back? Now, they brought in this young guy. Everybody raving over him. The only thing that makes him look good, he's wearing Dexter Manley's number, 72. Talk to me.
I'm not looking at 72. I'm looking at 78, Tony. Laremy Tunsil is a guy that you have to bring back. This is a guy that they have to sign back. He should have been in the Pro Bowl this year. I don't know why he wasn't, because this is a guy that came in and made everybody good, Tony. He helped Josh Connolly, the rookie offensive lineman that they drafted this year. He was tremendous. He was. But I think that if there's one guy that you have to make sure that's on this roster on your offensive line, is Laremy Tunsil, because he makes that offensive line go.
Since we're talking about the offensive line, I'm going to jump to the defensive side of the ball. Solomon, tell me, did you see, and you look at defense quite a bit, do you see a defensive player that stood out not just in this game, but prior games, and one that needs to be considered to bring back?
Dorance Armstrong. With his injury, he was still our best, and even while he's hurt, he's still our best. The rest of them guys, I plead the fifth.
Okay, we got two defensive linemen. Now let's go to the receiver corps. And, it's a cool breeze in the room, so we know G is here. And G, talk to me. What receivers did you see?
Well, you got to bring Terry back, of course. I mean, Terry's always going to – when Terry's on the field, they just play better. They always have. They always will. I like the receiving corps as a group, quite honestly. I think at the end of the day, our defense has to get a lot better. Really, what has to happen, our defense has to get a lot better. And we have to put up points when we need to put up points, I mean, it was just an ugly season all the way around. They had some bright spots in the beginning of the season, but, it turned, like, ugly. I mean, just ugly. Like, they had a hard time beating Philly's second team.
Well, and I tell you, Philly is a good team.
Yeah, they're a great team.
You did see some good things in them. So, Mike, last but not least, I want to ask you about our defensive back.
But Tony, I look good against my 10-year-old.
No, you don't. No, you don't. Don't let
Hey, make sure you say that now, G, because I give you 10 or 20 years and you won't be saying that.
I can barely beat him now.
Yeah, right. Well, Mike, quick, let me ask you this. And I can ask you too, Mike. I got another for you. Mike, quick, you watched our team.
Yep.
You saw that. One thing that I saw that you guys have is an outstanding running back.
Yes.
Did you see anyone on our team? It's one, and I'm not even going to say his name, that I thought they did not play him enough. Did you see any running back that stuck out to you?
Running back.
No.
I think Rodriguez is a
Thank you, Mike.
tough-nosed,
Thank you,
hard
Mike.
running back
Thank you, Mike.
that you guys underutilize.
Thank you, Mike.
I don't know how, like, if you go out through the entire season, the health status of him throughout the season, but that dude, I think if you lean on Rodriguez a little bit more, the run game, I like Bill. I like, what he brings to the table, but Rodriguez is a guy that I think I could ride with for a long time.
Well, it's funny. That's exactly who I was thinking of, and I thought they didn't utilize him. Plus, I didn't think this team did not have the go-to guy. And you got to have that, just like you guys have a go-to guy. Last but not least, Mike, and see, we're doing this early, and I'm talking about Mike Baker here. Tell me about the special team. Is there anyone, because this is a bunch of young players that you were looking for next year not to be special team, but they were good enough on it, and they look like they can make the progression to be a good player for the team?
They did put a lot of emphasis on that, especially kickoffs and punt returns. And I thought Lane was great. And I think a lot of people were surprised by Luke McCaffrey and his progress. So I think they're good for kickoffs and punt returns next year, Tony. They may have one of the best tandems in the league. You never know. And of course, you have Tress Way, who is your all-pro first-team punter. And you can't do any better than that.
Hey, Tony, Tony, can I jump in for a quick second? You were talking about players, looking at players that you want to bring back. And when you look across this, Rodriguez is one of the guys that they have to sign back to, Laramie Tunsil. And also, do you sign a Deebo Samuels back, who you're going to have to pay a lot of money, if that, and you're going to have to pay a lot of money to get Laramie Tunsil. And then on the defensive side of the ball, it's some guys that you got to sign back. So if you're looking at the roster for the Commanders right now, where do you start at? First of all, who would you want to say, this is a guy that we have to sign back? Because like I said, Rodriguez, Laramie Tunsil, those are and Deebo Samuels on the offensive side. And then when you look on the defensive side, some of the older guys, a Von Miller, would you bring him back? A Bobby Wagner, would you bring him back? Where do you see these guys fitting into this team?
Well, we're going to have to take a break now. When you come back, I'm going to tell you that I think Deebo can come back, but at the same time, he can't be great one play and make a mistake the next. I think he's very helpful. But with that being said, I've let you blow a lot on the show, and I bring you back. Okay, well, we'll be back in a minute.
Yeah, because I know.
We'll be back.
$20 million, man.
Vaughn, could you just talk about the win tonight and just what you were able to accomplish this season?
First and foremost, I want to thank God. My life is a testament to the type of work that he does for people, and I'm just so blessed to be in this position. And, it was definitely some divine intervention. Not only this season, but when I look back at my whole career, he's been right there with me. And, nothing in life happens by coincidence, and this is where I'm supposed to be. This group of guys, this group of coaches, led with DQ and the front office with Adam Peters, it's an extraordinary group of guys. And, the record, it's not a clear indicator of what type of team that we have or the type of character that we have in that building. And, of course, we want to be getting ready to go to the playoffs next week, but you got to find a beauty in everything. And this was a beautiful year. I learned a lot. I was able to grow. Wins didn't come, but I grew in so many different other places. And
hey, Vaughn, you said that you learned something this year. What was it most that you learned?
As football players, we get tied to the outcome. The outcome is often our identity. But I've learned that, we're so much, we're so much bigger than wins and losses. Of course, when you win, you want to say, I'm a winner. And when you lose, you're like, dang, I didn't cut it. But this group of men they're so much greater than just football players. And I've learned that. I knew that, but I've learned more about that. And it's not about wins and losses. We're pros, we get judged on that. but the type of character that we have in the locker room and the type of brotherhood that we've been able to build in the locker room means more than that.
What do you think this team could be capable of next year? It recalibrates and turns things around.
Man, you got to find a beauty in it. Last year, played in the NFC Championship. There was a lot of hype coming into this year. Like, everybody felt like this would be our year. I think that is the key, though. We didn't have the type of year that we wanted to have, and that's going to motivate guys even more next year. We got hit with a lot of injuries. That's just the fact. We're having one guy back, having Terry McLaurin back these last couple of games, it changes everything. Just that one player. So just imagine when we get Jaden back, and, we get LT back, and D. Wise, and Dorrance Armstrong, all of these guys that we lost, and we were still able to go out there and play competitive football. But next year, this team is going to be so hungry. It's going to be a special year for this team. Everybody's going to be motivated and chomping at the bit. This adversity that we went through this year will only make this team better, and I would love to be a part of it. This team is going to be it's going to be it's going to be hard to deal with this Commanders team next year, and I hope to be a part of it.
And Tony, I asked you going out on the break is that when you look at this team overall on the offensive side, Rodriguez, they have to sign him back. Larry Tunsil on that side, Deebo Samuels, they decided to go that way. But on the defensive side, Von Miller, who set a record, DeMarcus Ware, as far as sacks. He came on strong in the end with the sacks. And then Bobby Wagner gets the 2,000 tackles. Career, only 3 people have done that in a lifetime. London Fletcher was one of them, Bobby Wagner. And so
Ray
who
Lewis.
do you, and then Ray Lewis is the other person. So, I mean, he's in a class by itself. So, Tony, if you're looking at this team of the names I just threw out, who is most important to you to bring back? And would you bring back a Von Miller and a Bobby Wagner on that defensive side of the ball?
I sure would, and I think they're the most important to get back, and also bring back your best offensive lineman, your best two, so you have a little bit of constitution in what you're trying to do. But those 2 guys, Von Miller, I think he probably led the team in sacks this year. And one thing about he's in the latter part of his career. But you know what the most important thing I heard in that whole interview? He was about what they can do, where they need to go, and how they need to do it. We haven't heard a lot of that. When you've done your interviews during the course of the year, they are, well, I'm going to get better. No, he was talking about this team is going to be good. So, yes, Rodriguez, no way I wouldn't bring him back. Matter of fact, he would come back as my featured back. And that's what you have to look at. They don't have to look at making changes, but constructive changes. Just like what they were doing with the defensive line when they cleaned out all the number 1 draft choices, except for 2. They should have kept one of those end pieces. You don't just clean off both of your end pieces and it doesn't hurt you. Solomon was right about Armstrong. He really came on. I think he's going to be helpful this year. But one thing this team need to do, and we're going to close out with this, get the attitude. Now, as far as linebackers, they can't do no better than Bobby Wagner. They always lying, saying he's the guy, he can't cover. When you put as many tackles down as he does and do things as he's doing, there's no way you can't bring him back. So, Donna, I threw it out to you, and I know you get these guys looking at that, but now I'm going to throw it out to Mike Quick. Mike Quick, now we're talking about on our side of the ball, who you need to bring back. You guys are looking at the playoffs. Is that going to constitute who will come back to your team next year, you think? If you have a little bit controversy going between a couple of players and they both stars, do you think they'll bring them both back or maybe move one of them? Now, I know they're not going to move the quarterback, but give me your thoughts on that.
So I think they're going to try and keep both of them, but in time, they're going to have to make some moves because this is a team that most of the money is on the offensive side. There's a whole lot of money in the 2 wide receivers, the quarterback, even the tackles. Both these tackles, they are in the top 5 highest paid tackles in all of football. So there's at some point on the other side of the ball where you've got a Jalen Carter and you've got these young cornerbacks, Quinyon Mitchell, and you got Cooper DeJean. These guys are going to be up for big bags real soon. So the Eagles are going to have to figure out what they're going to do with all of this money on the offensive side, because at some point you have to allocate more to the other side of the ball where, and that side of the ball, quite frankly, is carrying this team through this season. It's not the offense, which is what it was last year, but now it's a defensive-led team, and they are going to have to put more resources in that side of the ball.
Well, what do you think would happen if that was to not occur and they do not do well in the playoffs? Do you think heads would roll then?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So we need to know.
And there's no telling where and how deep that would go if they don't at least get out of the first round and possibly out of the second round, because the team is just built to go the distance. They're that talented. Not playing that way, especially on the offensive line, but they are that talented.
Well, y'all do have a lot of draft picks again this year to work on that.
It's Howie Roseman, the GM. He's the guy's the magic guy behind the curtains when it comes to all of this moving salary, moving money, moving personnel.
Okay, well, let's look at them. We know Philadelphia, they're not the favorites right now, and we look at that as they may be one of the tops then. But with all these young, and I'm going to go to UG, you look at that, all these young teams that's coming in, all of them that's doing well. It's two things you see on each and every three things. You see a defense that's solid. You see an offense that's efficient. And you see some receivers that can break the game wide open. Just think about the games we saw on the weekend. And I'm asking, G, you know what you were, the posse. Do you see that on any one team in the playoffs where their receivers can take them where they want to go?
I think, because, the league, Mike may want to agree or disagree with me on that. The league it's a passing league now. So all the receivers in the league tend to be pretty good that are playing. They're going to put up those numbers because they're throwing the ball 80 times a game now. So it's a different league. So the receivers, they're playing. I mean, I can imagine what Mike Quick would be doing if he was playing into the league in today's game. Jesus Christ. They paid Mike $1 billion.
or Gary Clark when you're getting targeted 18 times in a game. That's crazy.
I wish I could have got that again. Jeez.
Hold on. It was a joke before we got started, Mike Quick, and Gary was right. So we were talking about the young man that they let stay in the game last night to get to his 1,000 yards.
Yeah,
Devontae Gary said he would have had it 5 games ago.
Yeah, no doubt.
And he's not lying. He was like, I wouldn't have needed to get in the game. And he's right. So I just was thinking about what he said. I'm like, just the way you guys were ballers and the ballers now, it's totally different.
No, there's no doubt about it, man. And you got to go to the 17th game to get it. Come on, man.
Hey, Mike, looking at Philadelphia as they go into the playoffs, Saquon Barkley, when you see him this year, and he dominated last year, did you see a difference in his game this year as far as the way team D'd him up or just his production this year?
So, Don, the difference is the number of times that he was hit in the backfield before he even got to the line of scrimmage. That's the difference. If you look at his when he was first contacted last year compared to when he made first contact this year, huge difference, because he was able to get 3-4 yards before he was ever touched last season with the way the offensive line played. This year, he's hit too many times behind the line of scrimmage, or he's got to avoid a defender behind the line of scrimmage before he's able to get any positive yards. The biggest play that he had when we were in Washington was one where he avoided a tackle that got upfield in the backfield, and then he was able to spring off the left side for a big run. But he's had to do that too many times. That's the biggest difference I see in him.
Well,
and Tony, they got the 49ers that the Eagles are playing this week.
And that's going to be a tough game, but the 49ers still show some weakness to me. That if their running back's not playing, they're in trouble. The quarterback had a bad game. Big Trey, is he going to play their best offensive line?
Oh, he'll be back. He'll be back.
And so you look at them. They're an aberration because nobody thought they would be that way. But Solomon, I need to ask you a question. When you look at what team do you see in the playoffs? But wait, let me back up. Mike, I had a question for you, and I know you're a statistic man. What is that true that they say anytime a back gets over 2,000 yards, they never come back the same?
Is that Mike Quick or Mike Baker?
Baker.
I'm not a stat guy, Baker.
You throwing it away.
Yeah, but
I
think Mike Quick could answer that better than I could. Barkley had an off year. I'm sorry, but he did. I mean,
yeah, but do you think it was because of all the carries and all the yards he got, and we got a minute or so left? How about all those last year? Then you start looking at the history of the game and look like anytime the backs go over that 2,000 mark, the next year or so they're okay. The year after that they're worse, and the year after that they're in trouble.
Done.
Yeah, I think you have a valid point, Tony. That's a mark that few people have ever set, and you, in revisiting the stats, you probably are accurate.
That's not going to happen to him.
They never had. The only person I can. The only person.
Jerry said that ain't gonna happen.
It ain't gonna happen to him.
Tony knows one. Yeah, there was a guy that played. We don't have to mention his name if you don't want to. A guy played for Buffalo, and he had 2,000 yards, and he had a couple more at 1,700 and 1,800 yards. O.J. Simpson, Tony, you had to defend him. So that was a good example of a guy who.
Yeah, it was, because he wasn't much good after he got much yardage. You forget the OJ, and I'm gonna tell you guys, when I come back, I'm gonna tell you a story about OJ. We have to take a break right now, but at the same time, get your caps on, guys. We're gonna go through this playoff and see who we think is the best. We'll be back in a moment.
Hi, welcome home. It's Michelle Van Allen from Van Allen Real Estate. I am over 20 years experienced in this real estate game. We all know that right now this market takes an experienced agent to get you what you need. All of you sellers, if you're considering putting your house on the market, please give me a call. I'd be more than happy to sit down and talk to you to find out where you place in this market. Hey, you first-time home buyers, remember, right now is the perfect time. It's a buyer's market to get you into your first dream home. Hey, you investors, this is an amazing time to invest. If you ever thought about it, give me a call. We can talk about it. We can talk about specific properties that are on your radar and mine. Give me a call. I'd be more than happy to welcome you into the Van Allen Real Estate team. I look forward to talking to you soon.
In Mad Mike's NFL News this week, the coaching carousel begins in the NFL. The Raiders fired Pete Carroll. You could see that one coming. Tom Brady is going to have a hand in selecting the next head coach. I've only heard Brady rave about Bears head coach Ben Johnson of late, so maybe one of Johnson's offensive coaches will be the next Raiders head coach. How about Bears offensive coordinator Declan Doyle? Let's see if I'm right. Predictably, Browns head coach Steven Stefanski is out. How the Browns handle their quarterbacks this season has been bizarre at times. I'm not sure it was all Stefanski, but a change was definitely needed. Now one that puzzles me. Atlanta's Raheem Morris was fired. General manager Terry Fontenot was also shown the door. Morris was fired after just 2 seasons and having won his last 4 games. If Morris had started Kirk Cousins at the outset of the season, would things have been different? It certainly appears so. Now, if I were a betting man, Morris ends up in Washington. He and Dan Quinn went to a Super Bowl together. By the way, Home Depot stock was down 11 to 17% this year. Even though Blank retired as Home Depot CEO in 2001, there might be some correlation, or not. Welcome to Washington, Raheem. We'll take you. Speaking of Washington, a number of weeks ago, I felt Cliff Kingsbury might end up coaching the Giants. They have pieces, and the second pick in the NFL draft in subsequent rounds. Some Washington press claim there's a disconnect between Washington general manager Adam Peters and offensive coordinator Cliff Kingsbury. The Jaden Daniels camp even came out in support of Cliff. We'll see. I wonder if Cliff still has that amazing glass house in Arizona. They just fired their head coach. Want to give it another try in the desert, Cliff? And speaking of the Cardinals, they did fire head coach Jonathan Gannon after just 3 seasons. Gannon was 15-36. I think the fact that the Cardinals lost 14 of their last 15 games did Gannon in. And may I make a suggestion? The Miami Dolphins and Arizona Cardinals swapped starting quarterbacks. Tua to the Cardinals and Kyler Murray to the Dolphins. Am I wrong? Or does this just make sense? And the Tennessee Titans are taking initial steps in hiring their new head coach after firing Brian Callahan back in October. My gut tells me they really want Kansas City's defensive coordinator, Steve Spagnuolo. And though it's still early in the week, I think John Harbaugh and Mike Tomlin are safe for now. Though Lamar Alexander is due a $70 million balloon payment next year if reports are correct. Could the Ravens move on from Alexander? Stay tuned, fans. And some significant milestones this past week. Washington linebacker Bobby Wagner became only the 3rd player in NFL history to reach the 2,000 career tackles mark. After the game, 2000 career tackler London Fletcher was in the locker room to present Wagner with a game ball. If Ray Lewis is the only other player who did it and is in the Hall of Fame, one wonders why London Fletcher is not. Sam Darnold became only the 2nd player in NFL history to have back-to-back 14-win seasons. Tom Brady was the other, however, Darnold did it with 2 different teams. And Cleveland defensive end Myles Garrett did it. He got his 23rd sack of the season against quarterback Joe Burrow. That sets a new NFL sack record for a 17-game season. And that's a look at some of the NFL news this week.
As we were referring to when we went out, this is a big time. We've got a lot of good teams. But at the same time, some of the young teams are standing out. I was looking at these different teams, and what I was going to tell you about O.J. Simpson, I had one time to guard him as a linebacker in the game. I never, and G, you and Mike know, but I didn't know what a pick was. He got 2 touchdowns on me, and he ain't never caught a pass to the touchdown in the game. So we don't talk about that much. But let's talk about this. Donna, what teams do you think that have to be looked at? I mean, in this playoff. And, you know, I'm looking at a lot of the young teams are really good now, but I haven't seen no one team that's dominant.
Yeah, Tony, if you look at the screen now, the playoff wild card is up on the screen right now, and you got some great games coming up Saturday. You got the Rams at the Panthers. Panthers barely got in there. They're 4th seed. The Rams is 5th. The Packers are at the Bears, Tony. The Packers are 7th seed, and the Bears is the 2nd seed. And then Sunday, you got the Bills, Josh Allen with that sore foot, a question mark there, but he'll play. They're playing against the surprising Jags. They come in as number 3, and then the Chargers, Tony, plays the Patriots. Nobody's talking about the Patriots, but they are 14-3, the 2nd seed. 49ers, we already talked about them playing the Eagles. And then Monday, Tony, you got the Texans at the 5th seed playing the Steelers, and the Steelers may have gave all their energy away trying to get into the playoff, beating the Ravens. But Tony, you asked me who do I look at in looking at this whole playoff pictures, and I got to say that Chicago is a team that, to me, I'm really paying attention to them because the Packers are all beat up, but the Jags, Tony, they started off hot. They went silent for a minute, and then they got strong again at the end. So that's a team to watch. And then the other team that I'm looking at, of course, the Patriots is my dominant team, but the Texans is my other team, Tony, that I really are watching closely, even though they're playing in Pittsburgh.
Okay, Don. Okay, Mike, tell me about that Pittsburgh. Speaking of them, they were lucky on Sunday to have won that game. At the same time, they can be pretty good in the playoffs because they're getting players back. But tell me what your thoughts on that, Big Zo.
Well, Pops, first of all, me and Don were speaking on this, and I want to say Gary said this about 2 weeks ago. I don't even think, let's just act like they're going to the restaurant. If you're 9-8 or 9-7, all you going to the restaurant to get is bread and water. You're not even making it to the appetizers. We were looking at the records of the Patriots. They are 13 and like whatever. The worst teams, the Texans are 11-5. I'm going to be honest. They did get lucky, and it is competitive enough where you got people like the Jaguars, where if you are a team that's barely getting in, the way they start, I think you only going to probably just get bread and water, and then they're going to say, all right, who's next? It's going to be some teams that's going to get deep, but I just don't see these teams, Pops, like Pittsburgh and them that struggled like this, or they've clawed their way in. Even last night, as disappointed as we is with the other team that's stinking up Maryland right now, it's two of us stinking up this area, because that's why we call it the DMV. They were 8-8. Did we really want a 9-8 team to get in? That's why I said, just to be able to just get bread and water and be escorted out the restaurant right away, Pops. So that's what I'm thinking with these teams like that, Pops. I don't know how long they're going to survive.
Right quick, you're on the other side of the ball because we were playing Philadelphia. I say, oh, you're going to lose. But tell me what teams you see are dangerous. I know you have to be really good to your old team, but at the same time, you think
I don't.
You don't have to, Mike. Who team you think is dangerous?
I don't have to be, but I'm going to tell you what. When I look at dangerous teams, I think first about Houston and the way Houston plays defense to me. Like Houston, I can't see them winning at all, but I think Houston's going to advance. The NFC South, I think that's just the weakest division in football. So Carolina's they're not going anywhere. I'm impressed with the Patriots because they have quietly, like no one's really talking about the Patriots, but they just continue to win. And they're very like smart, basic football, but they just win. You don't have to be flashy. That's the thing I like about the Eagles quarterback. He gets a lot of stuff, but the bottom line is the boy just continues to win. So I think at least through the first round, the Eagles will advance. But there's no dominant team. This is the cool thing about the NFL this year. None of us can sit here and say, this is the team that you have to beat that's going to go the distance. Because any week, any of these teams, so it is truly where we sit now, it's truly in any given Sunday or Saturday that team can win.
Yeah, you're exactly right there. And G, you know that you've been in a couple of Super Bowls, but do you see a team that's coming up like your young team did, filling all the blanks in and doing everything they need to do, G? And they had you, which they didn't need anything else because they still calling your name in the street in Washington. So tell me, G, who do you think, what team stands out to you?
You know what? New England is kind of like we were back when we played. Like the first Super Bowl I won, nobody saw that coming. Nobody had picked that to happen. They didn't see that happening. You know, and that's kind of how the Patriots are right now. Like nobody's really talking about them. Like, but their team plays great. Nobody's really talking about any individual players, you know, like same with us. Nobody really talked about any individual players. We had groups of players. We had, the national defense. We had the posse. We had the Hogs. They had the Smurfs. They had the Fun Bunch. There was groups of people, but they played well as a team. So I'm not saying that New England's going to win it, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did.
All right, I like that.
They just keep winning.
They need to.
They just keep winning.
See, Pop, right now, I'm going to just be honest. I'm going to bring it to the musical level. You just can't have a Michael Jackson and a bunch of Tito's and a bunch of Marlins and Jermaines. You got to have a new addition. Everybody in New Edition was bad, Pop. From Bobby Brown to Ralph Trevor, and I'm gonna be honest, I feel like that's what G talking about with the Patriots.
Yeah.
You don't know, everybody can get up where, I'm gonna be honest, some of these teams, if you take Michael away, all you got is Jermaine and Tito in them, and it's the Jackson Four. Where, to be honest, Pop, I know what G's saying. I like the Patriots too. Between the Patriots and the Rams, they all have a good new addition group where everybody can get up there and step up to the plate, Pop.
But I don't like
that analogy.
You like that by quick.
Hey, Tony, could you talk a little bit about the Bills and the Jaguars, that game right there? Because if you got a quarterback coming in that's limping on one foot and everything, the Jaguars is another silent team, maybe assassins that nobody is talking about either, and they're coming into the playoffs playing well. But how do you see Buffalo being on the road in Jacksonville?
That's what happened to you when you have one player on the team that can change the game in any direction. If he goes bad, they go bad. You have to have more players on the team that can be part of that win, not part of the loss. If you look at Buffalo, if he was 100%, I would say they had a good chance. Right now, he's not 100%. He can't do the running that he wants to do. And he's had some bad throws and bad decisions. I look at them as they like the other teams that were in the playoffs last year. They like Morrison. They'll be home for Christmas next year. And they going in, Christmas is over. They could have went home this year. So I look at them. Now you look at the Jags, it's scary teams like that nobody looks at, and they're going to come in and be tough. But, I don't think they hang pretty tough. Now, Mike, last but not least, tell me what team you think.
Mike
Baker.
Mike Baker. Okay, so Tony said last week, keep an eye on Houston. Mike Quick just said, keep an eye on Houston because of the defense. And now all of a sudden, you got the Seahawks that have a killer defense. Did we just pick the Super Bowl? Could it be Houston and the Seattle Seahawks? Is that conceivable?
Wow. That's who I picked. And I'm telling you, and it's funny, Mike, you would say that, and you and I been together for 41 years, so you would think we think alike. I look at it as they said, I think Houston got an outstanding defense. And one thing, that my heart is out to them because I played with Darryl Stingley's with his grandfather, Derek Stingley. I played with his grandfather, and I always remember what how a challenge he was for team. And this young man is the same. They got a defense that flows very, very good. They have an offense that can be explosive. Now, the other team that I was going to mention there is Seattle. Nobody looking at Seattle, but Seattle is tough. So you look at it, that could be the two teams.
What about Denver? What about Denver? We didn't mention them because
Denver got a lot of young
those two teams aren't playing this week. Those two teams, I didn't mention
what you
Seattle
said, Mike? What you said, Mike, about Denver, Mike?
Yeah, I didn't mention Seattle or Denver because they're not playing this week. But remember, if you go back to the Texans, C.J. Strong, since he's been back at quarterback, they have not lost the game, and that is the
come
Texans.
on now. They've won about 4 or 5 games.
No, I'm just saying, Tony, since he's been back underneath the center, they have not lost the game, the Texans.
Well, when we take this break, fans, I'm going to tell you the reason she's saying that in the picture. She was like Denver. She came out strong, but she ain't there in the end. We'll be back in the moment.
It ain't over yet. It ain't over yet.
Looking for top-notch sports officials who know the game inside and out? The Greater Potomac Officials Association, GPOA, proudly serves the military community throughout our region, with nearly 90% of our officials being military retirees, active duty service members, or guardsmen. We bring unmatched discipline, professionalism, and integrity to every contest. From youth leads to adult alumni, our officials cover it all. Want to learn more about GPOA or bring our officials to your program? Contact owner and CEO Earl Teller III at 202-498-2032 or email him at gr8rpotomac@comcast.net.
one-of-a-kind joy of Kellogg's cereal and ice cold milk.
Here.
And what is this for, Ricky?
It's for your rear delt. Open up the ISO rear flies. Here. All right.
Already started.
There you go. ISO rear flies, y'all. There you go. Good form. Nice rhythm. Again, you don't want to be jerking it. Jerking it. Nice and smooth. My turn coming up next.
I'm almost finished. I'm at the finish line. I'm in the third quarter.
Imagine if you was doing this whole thing by yourself. So you can see.
It's teamwork. It's the dream work.
There you go. And unlike these
There's no need for me to have all the joy and fun.
These down commanders need to get like that. Teamwork. I get to work my forearm and my biceps on at the same time. I reverse my hands this way, keeping my arms tight to the body and coming up. Nice and smooth. I'm squeezing my side as I'm doing that. I'm not involving no shoulder. I'm not doing this. I'm going here. Here. Get on biceps. Look at those wrists, forearms. Well, I could break a steel bar. Like this.
I'm gonna get down here with Ricky just because we're in the fourth quarter.
There you go.
And I'm 1-2. Fitness for everyone. 2025, 2026 NFL season.
Yes.
Ricky and myself brought to you the best fitness throughout the season. Hey, Ricky, you got anything to say to the fans?
Hey, guys, enjoy this workout. I want you to try to do it and get back with us and see how you feel, how you handle this, the planks from everything. I want to know what you did because it's not just helping yourself, it's helping everybody around you. Believe that.
And as Tony always say, we don't say goodbye. We say in the minute. Tony, that's our workout.
That was a good piece, but you know what, Donna? We saw them arms bent, but that was, you know what? I have to.
Oh, now you want to point out my arms bent.
Well, I didn't want to break you. I didn't want to break your spirit in the middle of the year.
I didn't see you. I didn't see you out there, Tony.
Just like, but you ain't look. I was in there.
You was the invisible
last
man.
year.
You was the invisible
Come
man.
on now, bring the picture. You see me in that? Do you see me? Hear my name? Call my name, Donna.
I don't know what you're talking about, Tony. But Tony,
No,
as you can see, our picks is up there as far as the sports challenge. We had a 3-way tie, Tony, between Crystal City Pub, Billy Baines out there at Crystal City Restaurant, and also the Glory Days. So they got to go into the playoffs, Tony, because it was that tight.
Well, they'll do it next week. Have you already gotten their picks?
Yeah, the screen is up there, Tony, but I have one more set of picks to get, and I don't cheat anybody. So I want to make sure that Jimmy out at Crystal City gets his picks up, but they're up on the screen for you to be able to see that, Tony, as far as who is leading that leaderboard. 3-way tie, Tony. And as you can see, our picks is up on the board, Tony, and all of us, like Solomon already said, it's been changing. It's been hard all season. Even the James Browns on CBS Sports and all that, they're having a rough time. The Howie Longs and all of them, Tony. So our picks is on the board. And again, Tony is leading by 2 games, and then Mike and Gary is behind, and then Solomon is right there, but I'm not even in the mix right now.
Oh, you didn't have to get out the Bible and tell us everything. Right
Oh,
now.
you're just happy because you in the lead for
now. We knew that anyway. You were lucky to be in it before, but at the same time, it's going to be interesting because Crystal City, they're there, both of them, every restaurant, they're always there. And I tell you what, you take a look at what we have now, it was a good set of individuals. But as you take a look at our picks down, and that just says and solidifies what we said. This is a year where it's going to be hard to pick. And Mike Quick, you know that yourself. And I know in Philadelphia, and we only got about a minute or so for you to tell me, but in Philadelphia, how are they feeling going into the playoffs? Do they feel like they have an opportunity to get to the big game, or do you think all the things going on will cause them to doubt themselves?
Yeah, I think the reason they rested so many players is so that they will have a chance to do it. You know, they're going to ask these guys 4 more weeks to put their bodies on the line. So give them a week off, and I think that gives them the best chance because the offensive line needs help. They need some time down. So we'll see how it works out.
And I like that New England. I like that Houston too. And guys, you know, it's been a good show, and we got about a minute. If anybody want to say anything, this is your opportunity. All right. I don't hear
Welcome
anybody.
to the playoffs.
Welcome to the playoffs.
Welcome to the playoffs. It's cool.
Well, it's
I
gonna
ain't
be
gonna
good.
welcome because my team's not in there. I'm not welcoming nobody.
Oh, see, he's sour, Solomon. You see, he's sour.
Dad, don't be upset because I saw them all leaving from the airport today to go to their destinations of Argentina, Mexico, Bahamas.
And they had those paychecks.
Solomon, they told me that they're taking a few minutes off and then they're back to the grime and whatever. Because
I'm just going dark.
How big were the trash bags they were putting their stuff in when they were cleaning their lockers?
It was boxes,
Now,
Solomon.
if they were
boxes.
small bags, they may be coming back. But if they were hefty bags, come on now.
No, it was just everybody had boxes. Even the main people have boxes.
A lot of them know
but next week, Tony, we'll be able to hear from those guys in Clean Out Locker Room and hear from Coach Quinn and AP as far as looking ahead to 2026 for this team.
I need one answer from you. Do you think Quinn will be back down there?
Absolutely, 100%. That's money in the bank.
Whoa.
With that being said, okay, I'll tell you what, I like Houston and I can't go without my Patriots, and my Bears are doing well. So one of my teams will win this Super Bowl. I put it like that. But Houston's in the back of my mind. Hey, thank you guys for being on, fans. Thank you for watching. And one thing, as Donna always say, we never say goodbye. We'll see you next week in a minute.
Tony McGee's Pro Football Plus Speakers Bureau offers you various opportunities to connect with former and current players along with Tony and the crew. For more information, go to redmagplus.com Speakers Bureau.
The one-of-a-kind joy of Kellogg's cereal and ice-cold milk.
People don't know the real story of what happened.
It was an unbelievable series of events and an unbelievable time.
Their championship was taken away from them in 1969. We are living in their championship now.
50-some years later, good is coming from it. They are impacting state after state after state after state.
And we're going to show the world how to love.
diving in there first. I'm getting Chris as he's cleaning out his locker, as locker clean out day is here. He's got all these nice, colorful shoes. Jacob is cleaning these boxes off.
Yeah, I mean, I think